Okay, here is an update. As you can see, the floors are in. We have everything done. We did manage to salvage the kitchen floor. It's probably not perfect, but like I said before in other videos, we are not out to gouge anyone or cheat anyone, but we are gonna leave this floor. We're gonna work this into a step right here. So we are gonna do that, but the floors are coming along really nice. We are in the floor joists and the subfloor. We're into that with labor and everything else, about $6,500, I believe. I haven't got the last bill on the labor yet, so just for some of the labor and the wood for the subfloor and the floor joists, we're at about $6,500. Here's the bathroom. We did purchase a new shower, so we have that coming. We will build them for the shower. We weren't able to save the trim because it had absorbed a lot of the urine. The dogs were males and they peed on the walls and peed down, and it soaked into the trim board. So we weren't able to save the trim like we wanted to, but we did save a lot of money on the actual floor covering. Instead of going with the very expensive carpet that we had, we did go out and spend $3,000 on flooring to have flooring put in here. And that's not the labor yet, but we will get to the labor next. And like I said, they will be billed for the labor. The shower is out of that bathroom. The toilet and everything else. We are replacing the toilets, but we are not billing them for the toilets. It was our choice to go to the chair height toilets. We're not gonna bill them for replacing any linoleum in here. We really are trying to save the linoleum. One thing that I'd like to say is there used to be a microwave in there, and the microwave disappeared and they left some broken toaster oven. So there's still a lot of work left to do. We're gonna go with a different flooring in this room here. We think we're just gonna go with some other flooring in here. And of course we have wood stored in here, stuff that we're working with. And again, we aren't trying to take advantage, gouge, cheat, or anything like that. We just want the damages that they made repaired on the inside of the house. Now, this is just the inside. It doesn't count and cover for the exterior, cleaning the mess up in the backyard, taking out the garbage and the dirt and the debris and all that gravel and the fencing. But we did go with a light beige paint. I don't know if you can see it. The trim will be white, the walls will be beige, nothing fancy. Again, it wasn't, we didn't go with the most expensive paint that was available, but we do have a painter that's painting, and they are, doing all the paint work. So they're gonna have to pay for the labor to get that stuff done. Again, this is not covering everything that we have to do in the backyard, all the landscaping and everything. That is just a task we just can't think about right now. Right now, we're still trying to figure out how to take care of the house. Mike and Beth Townsend of Southern Dogs Kennel, called Southern Dogs on Facebook, they just destroyed this house, and they didn't care. They didn't apologize. They didn't offer to replace anything. They kept saying, well, you can do this and you can do that. They rented a house that was in perfect condition. They rented a house that didn't have holes drilled in showers. They rented a house that didn't have floors sinking down into the dirt. They rented a nice house, which, there are pictures out there on YouTube. It was very nice. And I wasn't going to put in sub-quality equipment, just patch it over stuff to try to make do and not replace everything. Because like we said before, the stink alone, we're still struggling to get the stink out. I don't want to have to rip out the sheetrock to get dog urine smell out of here. So we're going to try to paint it to see if we can get rid of the smell. And they weren't supposed to smoke in here, but they smoked like chimneys in here. The stains all over the ceiling, the stains on the walls. You know, we were hoping we could maybe wash walls, but then there was dog poop up the walls. So we had to wash the walls and we have to paint them to get the cigarette debris stains off of the walls. I have no idea what they were thinking and why they were doing that. Beth and I were supposed to be friends, and she destroyed my house. She just came in, let her dogs poop and pee, was such a filthy housekeeper that the mice were in here pooping and peeing and all over the dog food and all over dog beds and stuff like that. It was just awful. And, you know, Southern Dogs Kennel is a kennel to raise dogs to sell to the public, and they were having dogs live in this mess. And it didn't faze them. They didn't care. They didn't care about the dogs. They didn't care about their own health by living in dog urine and mouse urine and feces. They didn't care about any of that. They just making money and tearing up somebody else's property. And it's sad because, like I said, her and I were supposed to be friends. And I helped her tremendously in pretty much everything she did. And she just took a big healthy dump on me and crapped all over our stuff and tore it all up and never cared. She did post to one of my posts that, you know, yes, we know that we tore it up and we're willing to share the cost of fixing it. Why should we share the cost of fixing it when they're the ones that tore it up? Why should we be out of pocket for sunken floors and a dog bathtub made out of a shower? Why should we have to share cost in that? I think we're doing very nice by them by going out and finding bargains and getting bargains to get the least amount on the paint, to buy it on sale. We're going to go to the Habitat of Humanity to try to find doors to put back on the bedrooms. So no, we're not cheating anybody. We're not taking their money and spending and buying the biggest and best and everything. We are trying to be careful and frugal. So they aren't going to get a big, massive bill thrown at them. They're going to get a bill for what is actually what we spent. Labor is expensive, having people come out and do the work. And, you know, it costs a lot of money to do that. But anyway, hopefully Beth and Mike Townsend of Southern Dogs Kennel, formerly of Cassville, Missouri, now in Wheaton, Missouri, hopefully they will do the right thing and they will just pay for this. But it's going to be expensive because, like I said, we haven't even gotten to the backyard and just removing the gravel, not even landscaping and putting in plants, because I just don't think I can do that. We can't replace the plants they destroyed. There's no way to replace them. But we can clean out all the gravel. We can put dirt back down and we can plant grass. And that's not going to be free. But it shouldn't look like some junked up old parking lot out back. It should be put back to the pretty yard that it used to be, minus the really nice flowers. But I don't think that's too much to ask to get that part restored. And like I said, we're not going to gouge them on the deck, even though they're the ones that tore up the deck because they took out all the footings to use them in their dog kennel. We're going to take off the one part of the deck, but that is going to be a labor cost. And we're hiring it done. And then they're just going to rework the main part of the deck and try to put the supports back under it and have it not cost anything other than labor, which is expensive enough. We're going to try to utilize the boards from the other part of the deck that we're just going to remove and the boards that are on the deck already. So again, this is just an update as to how much work, and the guys have done a tremendous job. They've done a lot in a very short time. Yes, it's been 2 weeks, but you know, this house is almost 2,000 square feet, and I think they did a wonderful job. You know, it's all, we replaced the flooring in 1,000 square feet. So the living room, the 1 bedroom, the master bedroom, the bathroom, the closet, 2 hallways, and the other bathroom. And they got that done in almost 2 weeks' time. So I think they've done a fabulous job. It looks really well. It's nice and stable and sturdy. And tomorrow they'll be back to work on more painting. They got some of it done, but it will be, like I said, a light beige color. And we still have to replace the curtains. I have no idea where that curtain rod went. I don't know where the curtain rods for these are. They had something up there, but they were just big, long metal rods. I don't know where the curtain rods went. And that's not what was here when we moved in, because like I said, we have pictures of everything. We have pictures of the microwave. We have pictures of all the curtains and the Venetian blinds. We have pictures of the garbage disposal or the garbage compactor not broken. We have pictures of everything. And it was clean and it was beautiful. And that's what they moved into. And they left us a disaster. And apparently the friendship was only one-sided. And she wasn't really my friend. She just came in, destroyed everything, and walked away and laughed it off. And for that, I'm really, really sorry. And I am ashamed to even consider the fact that somebody would do that to somebody else, regardless of a friendship. Just a decent human being would not destroy somebody else's property this way. This is criminal. If you went out and took a sledgehammer to somebody's car, you'd go to prison. You would be fined. You would be in big trouble. But have them come in and take dogs and lock them in rooms for days on end with puppies and have them shred the doors and pee and poop all over the place and you know, make the ammonia smell in the house toxic to where your eyes are just burning severely. And that's okay. You know, she's still raising dogs. She's still having a good time. Doesn't care about anything other than making money. But anyway, I'll post this video. And like I said, we have flooring. We have paint. We have 1 shower, 2 toilets. And again, I am not charging them for the toilets. It was our decision to go to the chair height toilet instead of the little tiny toilets. Make it easier for people. But everything else that they've destroyed, yes, they'll get a bill for it. And just common decency would have them pay for it. Will they pay for it? I don't know. That remains to be seen. All right, till next time, guys, have a wonderful evening and a blessed day.